It is the show that keeps you on the loop on everything that happens within the business world of Rwanda. And of course, we are back bigger and better. I am your host, Diana Iriza. You're watching Business Digest. Now, Bank of Kigali Group Public Limited Company has officially launched the trading of its right issue shares, creating an opportunity for shareholders to increase their stake in the bank. Let's have a look at this story. Bank of Kigali Group Public Limited Company has officially launched the trading of its rights issue shares within the country. The rights issue is the first of its kind on the Rwanda Securities Exchange market, and it is also an opportunity for all existing shareholders, both institutions and individuals, to increase their stake in the bank. The share price goes for 270 Rwandan francs for each ordinary share, and there are 222,222,222 shares that are up for sale and expected to raise 60 billion Rwandan francs. Usually, a subscription right or a preemptive right is a privilege granted by a company to its shareholders to buy new shares in proportion of its pre-existing shares. The trading of the Bank of Kigali Group PLC rights issue shares on the Rwanda Stock Exchange market kicked off on the 29th of October 2018 and will be closed on the 19th of November 2018. All shareholders are advised to visit their respective stockbrokers authorized for this transaction, including BK Capital Limited, FIDA Securities, Africa Alliance Rwanda Limited, CDH, Capital Rwanda, Baraka Capital Limited, MBA Brokerage Services Limited, SBG Securities Limited, and Core Securities Limited. And joining us now is the CEO of Bank of Kigali, Dr. Diane Karusisi, and she's going to shed more light on this topic. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Rwanda TV.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
All right. Now, at the start of our interview, for our viewers out there who are not aware of the right issues, how would you clarify what this is and who is eligible to participate in the transaction of these issues?
First of all, I'll start by explaining that Bank of Kigali is listed on the Rwanda Stock Exchange. So we have many shareholders, individual people who are shareholders, but also institutional investors like the Social Security Fund and others. And when companies grow, they need more capital. And when they need more capital, they go back to their shareholders to tell their shareholders, the company is growing, we want to grow more, we have a strategy, and we request you to give us more money for us to execute our growth strategy. And this is what we are doing. And in this case, when a company is listed, we issue new rights, and the rights are only for the existing shareholders. Someone who is not a shareholder in Bank of Kigali will not have access to these rights. First of all, the rights will be availed to the existing shareholders, and only after a certain period of time, when we have people who have not taken up the rights, we'll take these rights and trade them, and in this case, we are planning to trade them on the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Okay. What is the purpose of these transactions? What is the motive behind this?
Again, the bank has grown. Since last time we went to the markets, we raised $60 million in 2011. Since then, the bank has grown and has actually evolved into a group. It's a financial services group. We have, obviously, the bank, which is still the biggest subsidiary, but we also have insurance, we also have investment bank, we also have a technology company, and we have a plan to even grow more into more sectors in financial services. But even for the bank itself to be able to give more loans to the private sector, we need a bigger capital base. And that's what we are using this money to do, to grow our capital base, for us to be able to have a bigger lending power and to support the...
Okay, now the trading of the right issue shares with RSE market is set to start off on the 29th of October, this Monday. When was the decision made?
So the decision was actually made long ago by shareholders during a general assembly meeting, which took place in May this year. And they agreed that for us to be able to continue to grow, they agreed to put in more money in the company. So since then, it's been a process to get all the approvals, to get all the documentation, to have a strategy ready for all investors to see what we're going to do with this money. And also because we're planning to cross-list on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, we also needed to have many approvals, which now we have. And that's why we are starting the rights issue. We are launching the rights issue on the 29th of October. All
right, let's talk about IPO, the initial public offer that was listed by Bank of Kigali in 2011. How different is this? How different is this transaction from that?
So an IPO, as the name says, it's an initial public offering. So it's the first time a company is going public, is going to the market. So ever since we've been listed, so we are known. We're a company that has been, of course, doing business, but also shareholders know us. We've been distributing dividends. We've been publishing our numbers. So it's less of difficulty because we are known, we are already a public company. We're now just going back to the shareholders to tell them to put more money in the company. So it's not an initial, but it's a secondary offering as opposed to an initial public offering, which is when a company which is private is going public.
Great. Before we conclude our interview, just to put more focus on the shareholders that are participating in this, what confidence does the bank give to the shareholders that are in pursuit of this transaction?
So what we are telling our shareholders is that with this bigger capital base, we are going to grow our business and we are going to be more profitable. Amongst the strategy that we'll be implementing in the next 3 years will be a digital transformation strategy. So we want to be able to give services to anyone in Rwanda, anytime, and at an affordable cost. So we also want to grow our customer base and obviously grow our revenues. So what we are telling shareholders is invest more in BK. Not only will you be playing a bigger role in the growth of the Rwandan economy, but you'll also be getting more profits in terms of dividend that will be distributed in the future. But again, you'll be having a bigger impact on the Rwandan economy.
Now, one thing I'm curious to know about is the subsidiary companies. How are they involved in this transaction, and also how are they affected?
So the group, the holding, is the one that is listed and the one that is raising capital. Now, after we've raised this capital as a group, we'll allocate this money in our subsidiaries. Obviously, the bank, as the biggest subsidiary, will get the biggest share. But also the insurance company will be investing more in the insurance company, will be investing more in the technology business, more in the investment bank, because we want all these subsidiaries to grow as the bank grows and to be able to offer all financial services under the BK brand. So what these people expect in our subsidiaries is that they'll have access to more capital to grow their business.
Great. Let's talk about the Chief Digital Officer that was appointed yesterday. It also brings us to the focus on digital transformation. How is the digital transformation linked to your envisioned growth?
So, as I was saying, we've designed a new digital transformation strategy that we'll be implementing in the next 3 years. And we have a number of initiatives that we'll be implementing. We'll first overhaul, if you will, our IT infrastructure. And the objective is that we want to improve our uptime. We want our customers to be able to join the bank anytime. And even if we have 2 million customers trying to call on our systems, it should be possible. So that's what we want, to have a more robust IT infrastructure. But we also have many other initiatives. We have initiatives in data analytics. We have initiatives in innovation. We have initiatives in connectivity. So we want to have, our objective is to be able to give services to everyone, anywhere in Rwanda. So that we really want to be a bank that can offer affordable services to everyone and anywhere in Rwanda, including in the rural areas. And that's why we've appointed a Chief Digital Officer who will be in charge of overseeing all the initiatives that will be taking on in the next 3 years.
As we conclude our interview, is there anything extra you would want to share with the viewers? Any final remarks?
So again, I want to tell everyone that is watching this that Bank of Kigali has a vision to become even closer to the people, to provide better services, and also to be the best in customer experience. And the money we are raising in the capital markets is going to help us do precisely that, to be able to offer all these services. But the experience that our customers have with us, we want to transform it and make it the best in the market.
Great. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Diane Karusisi.
Thank you.
For taking the time to have this interview, and I hope we can do more of this in the future.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. You're still watching Business Digest. Do stay with us. We still have more to come.
I think the changes that we have were to, first of all, enable cross-border trading and allowing companies to tap into regional markets to raise liquidity. First of all, we had to integrate the legal and regulatory framework. These are laws and regulations of each and of the East African community countries to allow such movements. And that's why we have today BK Group going to Nairobi Securities Exchange to get liquidity and also diversify its investor base. It's at the regional level. At the domestic level, we had the Capital Market Authority has to reduce or lessen requirements for companies to come to the capital markets. We had requirements that were a bit maybe stringent for small and medium enterprises, but today we have what we call Sme Disclosure Guidelines. It's actually getting the requirement for corporates, but customizing to the level of SMEs so that we can allow them to come also raise capital on the capital market.
I don't think that's the issue. It's just for the Bank of Kigali to access other investors who are not in Rwanda. There are investors in Nairobi who do not come to this market. So now if a company does a cross-listing or a dual listing, like we like to say it, it's expanding its horizons and the investor base. So there are investors who are in Nairobi who normally don't necessarily come here. And it's a good thing for the company because first and foremost the company wants to raise money. That's the bottom line. So if they raise money from existing shareholders in Rwanda, it's a good thing, but there are other investors who are in the Nairobi market who don't come here. So it's just taking the shares to them the same way the other companies in Nairobi have done into our market. There are investors in Rwanda who have been buying KCB Bank and Equity Bank, so from our market here. So Beka is doing the same. So it's not a question of people not being satisfied with our market or anything. It's just getting the people who are not coming into this market because you can access them easier and faster in Nairobi. And it's like having a store, So if you have goods in one market, and you access them closer to you. It's basically bringing the shares closer to the people in Nairobi. The strategy is, first of all, companies must make money. So if you are making money, people will come to you. Investors will always come to you if you are making money. That's the bottom line. So, and today the story of Rwanda is a good one. Everyone is trying to come to Rwanda. Everyone wants to be part of Rwanda these days. So for us, we're using that story. And we are telling people we are open for business, and we have a good legal framework taking place, and we are open for business.
In regards to poverty reduction, non-profit organizations carry out the activities rotating around the Poverty Reduction National Program, such as Youth Economic Empowerment. About 9,223 youths from 7 different districts have been enrolled in these programs, learning key fundamental poverty reduction methods such as savings, investment, microfinance before starting up their businesses. Business Digest got to visit one of these organizations to get an insight on what these organizations have to offer to the community.
Been empowering youth about 9,223 from 7 districts, looking at how they can move out of poverty. We started with educating youth to to know the aspect or the concept of saving and loaning. You know, this is very important before you start a business. You know, you should know how to save, you know how to invest, you should know how to use banks or microfinance with money to train. And the number of use I have mentioned is a big number. They saved about 400 something millions for the last 3 years, and they started business through individual saving and loaning. And I can testify that all of them are employed. They are self-employed to date, and there is no complaint about job opportunities around. They are doing their own work. From there, we thought it's not sustainable. If we leave them just like that, we also go with the government programs. We encourage them to form cooperatives. They are formed cooperatives. To date, we have 214 cooperatives in the 7 districts. These cooperatives are registered at district level. They are working and they are performing well. We never stopped, and we thought, you know, for sustainability, we managed to facilitate some of them to access TVET skills. We paid for about 1,485 youth who were enrolled into TVET schools. They were trained for 6 months. Thereafter, we are in the process of providing the startup toolkits to make them actually implement the skills they have learned from the schools, and most of them have started already their businesses.
Street vendors have really changed, as our intention was to help them to get formalized, to go from informal to formal. Through extensive entrepreneurship trainings and having the knowledge and culture of savings, they have really acquired confidence to be able to have some of the areas where they can sell their products. For example, like selling stores. Some are from Nyabugogo are now having selling stores in Umutangana market. Others in Rurindo are really having good places where they sell their products. Others have money to open shops. Others have money to do business in cooperatives where they really feel confident and comfortable. And that gives them security, because they have been really running out with the police people. They have been really feeling insecure based on what they have been doing. But today they feel secure and they are stable in doing more businesses. They still to more income generating activities. Some of the youth now are doing businesses in tailoring. Others are doing business in shops. Others are having cooperatives of mechanics. Others are having cooperatives of electricity. We have so far 214 cooperatives which are doing tangible businesses. Among them, we have linked close to 28 cooperatives with private sector actors who are having relevant activities for them to run from them and be able to improve what they have been doing. So far, they have managed to attend national trade fair. They have attended local trade fairs, and we have seen them getting experience and improving designs of what they do, and also feeling competitive at the country market.
We'll be
marking the end of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Business Digest will be visiting one of organizations that are coming up with businesses that are supporting the well-being of breast cancer survivors. Thank you for watching Business Digest. I am your host, Anna Iriza, and see you next week.